ranking the 15 best Test debutants in 2025. All Blacks, big success, edges out rising Springboks star with England also well represented. After another thrilling year of international action, we look at some of the new names that made their mark on the sport in 2025. Plenty of players got their chance at the highest level, and we have ranked the best 15. 15 Duplessis Kirifi, All Blacks. The flanker finally got his chance after a series of excellent seasons for the Hurricanes in Super Rugby, and he had plenty of game time this season. Kirifi certainly didn't look out of place in the All Blacks side, and his work ethic was exceptional, but he wasn't necessarily a standout, which is why he isn't higher. 14 Geronimo Presiantelli, Argentina. A fly-half who only had 4 games, but there was enough in those performances to suggest that he is here to stay. Presiantelli was particularly excellent against Wales, but he also did plenty of good things in the narrow defeat to the Springboks at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. 13 Max Ajamo, England. The Bath Centre had fewer matches than either Kirifi or Presiantelli, but his impact was telling in both. Ajamo had a game against the USA in July to settle into life as an England Test player before he earned his second cap as a late replacement for Fraser Dingwall in their final clash of the year against Argentina. It couldn't have gone any better as he scored 1 try, assisted another, and was named man of the match. He is firmly in the picture for a Six Nations start. 12 Celsi Rayasi, Fiji. The All Blacks' loss was Fiji's gain as Rayasi switched allegiances and featured for the Pacific Islanders in 2025. Rayasi made a try-scoring debut against the Wallabies in July before playing and impressing against both France and England in the November series. The Flying Fijians do not lack for talented backs, and the former Hurricane star is another one to add to the list. 11 Regis Montagny, France. Just 18 months ago, the tight head prop was playing in the Pro D2 for Grenoble, but after an impressive season for Clermont-Auvergne, Montagny toured New Zealand and played in 2 matches against the All Blacks. He was one of the finds of that series with Fabian Galthy, nomming a significantly understrength squad, and was rewarded with 3 starts in the November series. 10 Dan Edwards, Wales. It continues to be a dreadful time for the Welsh, but in difficult circumstances, the fly-half has stood up impressively. Edwards doesn't have much of a platform to work with, but he has impressed in most facets of the game and deserves massive credit for that. The 22-year-old will be an excellent Test player if Wales can find a platform up front. 9 Simon Parker, All Blacks. We're still waiting for that breakthrough performance from the 25-year-old, but after making his debut against Argentina in the Rugby Championship, Parker has been an ever-present in the squad. The back rower has been physical on both sides of the ball at close quarters, while his work ethic is exceptional, which is why head coach Scott Robertson is a fan. 8 Simon Benitez Cruz, Argentina. Another excellent find for Los Pumas this year, with Cruz rarely letting them down following his first cap in July. Has interchanged between a starting role and a place on the bench, but he has generally impressed when on the field. Agustin Moyano is another Argentine scrum half to have broken onto the scene in 2025, but he is slightly behind his teammate in the pecking order and therefore just misses out on this list. 7 Leary Carter, All Blacks. Robertson made the big call to replace Rico Ione with the Chief speedster, and Carter rewarded that faith with 3 tries in as many games at the start of his Test career. The Grand Slam tour was slightly tougher for the 26-year-old after a yellow card against Scotland and being bumped off by Ollie Lawrence in the England loss, but there was still a lot to like. 6 Tommy O'Brien, Ireland. Ended last season as Leinster's best player, so it was no surprise when O'Brien got his chance for Ireland. He has endured a wretched run with injuries, but now that he has had a consistent run of games, the talented back is starting to fulfill his potential at the age of 27. Touched down 4 times in 2 games against Georgia and Portugal in July, and then started every game of Ireland's November campaign. 5 Venter Springboks. The loosehead could have been playing for Scotland next year, but Erasmus decided to call the Edinburgh prop in after injuries in the front row. It was a surprise at the time, but it proved to be an inspired decision as Venter enjoyed a fine first season at Test level. Following Ox Enchi's injury, he ended the year as the Springboks' starting prop, with the highlight of course being that Ireland demolition. 4 Guy Pepper, England. In some ways, Pepper's emergence has gone under the radar, but in reality his impact has been significant for Steve Borthwick's men. The back rower provided the assist for the match-winning try in the second test against Argentina in July before he started every game of their end-of-year campaign. Pepper, who has been compared to Richie McCaw by Bath boss Johan van Graan, was a menace at close quarters and was a useful option at the lineout despite his shorter stature. 3 Henry Pollock, England. Onto the top 3, and unsurprisingly, all were nominated for World Rugby's Breakthrough Player of the Year. We agreed with the selections and duly start off with Pollock, who has enjoyed a stunning rise over the past year or so. In March, he made his England debut before the back rower went on tour with the British and Irish Lions a few months later. By the time the November campaign came around, Pollock had only earned 1 test cap, but he made a significant impression in the next 4 games to earn this spot. 2 Ethan Hooker, Springboks. After cameos off the bench against Italy and the All Blacks, Hooker made his first test start in Wellington and very much announced himself to the world. Playing on the wing, the Shark star was dominant in the air and showed his ability in broken field with one incredible run during the 43-10 victory over New Zealand. With Kurt Lee Arendts returning for the end-of-year series, Hooker missed out on the big November games against France and Ireland, but the 22-year-old still had good outings against Japan, Italy, and Wales. 1 Fabian Holland, All Blacks. The big success from New Zealand's otherwise underwhelming season, as the aptly named Holland immediately became a key part of the All Blacks' second row. The Dutch-born lock impressed with his set-piece work, but he also had a tremendous engine and regularly completed the 80 minutes. You feel that he will remain a key part of their side heading into the Rugby World Cup following this breakthrough year.